Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Trackmania Live. If you are used to the Trackmania podcast, this is not like this. Today I will actually have 8 different players on the episode, and instead of talking with them for like 2 hours, I will talk with them for 10 minutes about the first impression of the Trackmania. One of the latest guests on the podcast is Pack, but so much has happened since Pack was on, so I had to invite him back. Pack, some crazy days. How are you doing at the moment?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. That's for sure.
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast, like f- basically joking around with it. Yeah, name 3 streamers you want to see playing, and then you mentioned the 3 from the Sidemen. And eventually you ended up playing with Circa from the Sidemen. For me, that is one of the favorite stories so far in 2020. But from your perspective, how is it to actually play with one of the streamers that you actually enjoy watching once you want to relax?
Kind of crazy because I've been watching these guys for like 7, 8 years, and just to be able to get the opportunity to be in like a Discord call with one of them and even play the game at the same time and like coach him through yeah, it's a surreal kind of moment for me. I couldn't believe it, and like all my friends sort of know who these people are as well, so it's like kind of like a big deal. So yeah, it was really cool to have that opportunity.
Hmm. Yeah, for some people, let's say the main viewer in Trackmania is French, so they don't might not know the Simon as well as you do. Can you tell people why is this such a big deal? How big are actually Circa and the Sidemen in United Kingdom?
Well, the Sidemen in general are quite a huge UK YouTube group. For instance, they have a Sidemen channel, and each video they produce a video every Sunday. It gets at least, I think, 5 mil views, and then obviously you've got KSI, the most noticeable one, who is in, I don't know, is in UK mainstream media, doing obviously the boxing fights and uh, becoming a rapper and all of that. Each of them have at least 3.5 million subscribers on YouTube, so I think that's quite a big deal.
Hmm. And can you tell us how is? Do you know more about Circa than we do? Is he looking to maybe play more Trackmania? Are you maybe invited to do some in real life teaching him? Are the Sidemen gonna play Trackmania? Do you have any inside information you can give us?
Real life video. I don't think that's going to be a thing, but he's definitely going to play it some more. I think he likes the game, and his chat clearly like it as well. Like, every time he doesn't know which game to play after playing like Call of Duty Warzone. It's all of it saying like Trackmania, so it's quite a good person to have playing it. In terms of Sidemen making a video on it, I doubt that's going to happen. I feel like the rest of the guys don't like the racing games. There is one other Sideman that might, but you have to wait and see for that one. I'm not entirely sure whether he's
Ooh.
getting in contact with him or not. Actually, I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
But for now, I think they're focusing on their other channels, and then yeah, I think Zerka's going to play the game a little bit more,
Hmm.
which would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I made a little video about it and said that this is sort of like what each nation needs to get a player like yourself involved with a streamer like Circa, because then his viewers can actually get to know you. Maybe now they will cheer for you in Serati, maybe in Trackmania Grand League. Do you think that this can sort of blossom the UK scene, or do you think the UK scene eventually will not notice any effect from it?
I don't know. It depends. It's sort of taking advantage of what you can right now. So for instance, if I'm going on like a stream with Zerka and his viewers are liking me, then they might come on to mine, for instance, now that I've got one going. So it's sort of all about taking an opportunity as it comes and being the right person at the right time, I guess. Because if I went on and they hated me, I wouldn't get anywhere. So I feel like it's all about luck, really. If they don't like you, then you're not gonna get anywhere. And for him as well, it's someone that genuinely likes the game and likes playing it. It's not someone paid in to come do it. He's doing it because he enjoys it, and it's one of them kind of wanna, you're not. It's not like a, what's the word? I don't know, but it's sort of just, it's all come into place by chance, really. It's not really sort of been forced. So yeah, I think it can happen, but it needs to be done correctly, I guess.
Yeah.
So
And you mentioned that you started your own stream. We saw some big numbers for you streaming
Oh
basically
god.
one of your first days. But was this a direct consequence of you being involved with Circa, or had you planned to actually stream before you eventually got in touch with Circa?
I planned to do it for a while now. I've had this laptop which can run the game, the Mania Planet one, for a good frame rate, and my internet speeds have been getting better over the years. And I thought, why not give it a go again? Because now I've got time to do it. I've been planning to for a while. When I've been approaching teams, I've been saying, yeah, I'm open to streaming if that's things you want me to do, and I've kept to my word. I said I was open to do it, and I am open to do it. I have done it, and yeah, I've not been getting some bad viewers. To be fair, I'm quite impressed with what I actually have been able to do. I mean, each time I've streamed, someone has hosted me, but before or like after I've been hosted, I've always had around like it's been about 70 to 100. I'd like to say 100 is near enough where I can go into. So that seems decent for me. And yeah, I think there's definitely some of the chatters are stuff from Zerka stream himself. So yeah, I think it's definitely been good for me in a way that happened. But also, I feel like I was going to do it anyway, but off the back of some advice as well, it seemed like a good thing to do for the UK at least. I mean, obviously we've got Scotty as well, but I've been
Yeah.
wanting to do this for a little while now, and
Hmm.
it's finally come together.
Yeah, I guess you already overtaken Scotty there, so you're the biggest UK streamer in the Trackmania.
Sounds harsh. No, don't say that.
But let's talk about maybe the most important part. If you look at it from your personal view as a player, can you tell us how do you enjoy the game? Do you enjoy actually playing the new game? Does it give you more motivation to maybe train for the upcoming Trackmania Grand League, the upcoming CRT? How do you like the new Trackmania?
It's horrible, isn't it? No, I love it. I love the game. It's so good. It's like beating all my expectations that I thought they could do, because I mean it was already quite low from Nadir in like, to be honest. But yeah, what they've done and how quickly they're trying to fix things now that there's such a big eye on it. I feel like yeah, they're doing great. It's really good what they've done. And when the little box for events opens, I think that's gonna really change things as well. ZRT I can't attend at the moment, just because timings. It's 3 p.m. till 10 p.m. on the Saturday. I thought the first rounds would be a little less time constraint, but my timings were wrong, and I'm already booked to do something which has been planned for 2 months now on that evening. So on that evening / whole day, so I can't do ZLT, but I'm motivated to train TMGL, and that's what I'm gonna do after this as well. I'm gonna be practicing show match just to try and show off a little bit. Hopefully I can show off. Hopefully I won't crumble. But yeah, I really enjoy the game. I enjoy all the new elements that there are. It's just it's given a new kind of whole vibe to the game, and to make it a bit more exciting and competitive, because there's now new things to actually do rather than reaching the limits of what was already there.
And something that has happened since you was a guest on the podcast quite recently is the announcement on 1st of July that you signed a new deal with Eminem Gaming. How happy are you with the new deal? How long is it for? What do we need to know about you staying in Eminem Gaming?
Yeah, I'm happy with the new deal. It fits me well. I was surprised by it, but it came at a good time, and yeah, I feel like the guys there, Dan and Cal, really sort of just understand what I need, and I guess they're a good fit for me because they are from the UK, and yeah, I really like the new jersey design as well. But that's a good look. But yeah, I'm signed for obviously TMGL, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm looking forward to my time with them for sure. It's definitely going to be good. I hope. I could put a lot of effort into TMGL, so they're
yeah,
going to make it good.
can you tell us? Do you have now a clear goal about TMGL? Is it maybe the show match, how serious are you taking the show match actually? Is it just for fun for you, or do you actually feel that maybe you have something to prove after the Trackmania Grand League Winter 2020?
Yeah, I've got something to prove for sure. I need to actually show myself as being can actually play these tracks and do well. And yeah, for the Grand League itself, I wanna be in the grand final of it, and I wanna come top 3 in the league phase at least. That's what I wanna do.
Hmm. It's 10 minutes. I appreciate you taking the time. Not like the podcast where you can sit back and talk for 2 hours, but today I'm doing something new. I have no idea how this is going to work. And if people want to find you more, when are you starting to stream?
I'm gonna stream in about 20 minutes time. So yeah,
Okay, so
and
they can watch your stream and listen to me.
yeah, exactly. Watch all the other interviews tonight. There's plenty.
Yeah. But by the way, why is it Pack O TM on or Pack O
Oh,
underscore TM?
even because I created my Twitch account in 2014, just after I joined Dignitas, when Insane started calling me Paco, and then it sort of carried on. Then that's when I changed my name to Paco. Then ESWC 2015, I played with the name Paco, and then for that whole 2-year span, I played with the name Paco, and that's when Zerator sort of commentated and called me Paco, and it was like massive screaming and all that, and that's when it stuck. And then I never really used Twitch for anything, and then I've come back on 3 years later, and my name's still Paco, and I don't know how to change it, so it's sort of stuck. So yeah, I mean, I don't really care. My name's Pac in game, but it's Paco on Twitch. It's the same essentially.
Yeah, who
Call me
cares?
Pac or Paco.
But if you, yeah, but if you want to watch Pack or Pack O, it's Twitch/Pack O underscore TM there. And once again, I appreciate you taking the time, and don't be surprised if I hit you up again quite soon.
Yeah, no worries. I enjoyed these. Thank you for the interview, and I hope
Yeah,
it goes
thank you
well
so
for the rest
much.
of the evening for you.
I guess that's it. Bye
Yep.
bye, guys. And we are back with another interview. And for people that is just tuning in, today is a crazy day. 8 different top players here talking about their first impression of Trackmania. The next one is Scrappy, and then Massa, and then Kappa. So stay tuned. A lot of big interviews coming up here. But for now, let's focus about Scrappy. Scrappy, one of the best players in the world so far in 2020, with his latest second place at Trackmania Grand League. Scrappy, how is life? How busy are you now with the new Trackmania?
Very busy. I don't think I've played this much Trackmania, like ever.
Really?
Yeah, like over 10 hours per day is quite a lot.
Damn, that's grinding. But do you feel that maybe you can burn yourself out playing that much, or is it just because you have so much motivation at the moment that you play so much?
I don't know. Like currently, burnout is not a thing, but who knows? Like, I don't do much. I don't do very much stuff other than playing right now. So it can happen.
But then, since you played so much, I guess you have a much better overview of how the games feels than me. Can you tell people what is your first impression of the new Trackmania? I must say, you must like it if you play 10 hours a day. But can you tell people what is the first impression you have of the new Trackmania?
Um, the game is really great. Like gameplay wise, it's super nice. I feel like the physics are more close to the very old TMN than let's say TM2. And gladly, I did the hunting on TMN before, so drifting feels very natural in this game. Because yeah, the car feels heavier, but it slides way easier for some reason. I don't know.
But
It's
you
a
like the
great
physics,
feeling.
or?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. The physics are really nice.
Hmm. And if you look at all the different blocks that is coming in, do you have a favorite block? Is it the ice block? Is it the reactor boost? What kind of impression do you have of the new blocks that is coming into Trackmania?
New blocks, like the new surfaces. I don't know. They seem all good. I'm a bit scared of tech turns on the normal road because the border outline, like the barrier and the border on the side is in black color, and I can barely see the difference between still being on the road or inside the barrier. So that's the only bad thing I have gameplay wise. But yeah.
But do you think that this is a needed implementation from Trackmania? Do you think that now that you have played it for a week, do you feel that this was a necessary step for Nadeo to eventually help Trackmania for a longer run?
Yeah, it was definitely necessary to launch Trackmania, like up in everyone's awareness and into esports again. There wouldn't be there was no chance they would do it with the old Trackmania. They needed a new game to come out that is ready for the competition and such.
Hmm. And we have a lot of big streamers streaming it. I saw you were playing on the same server as Lyric, if I recall correctly, you being in chat there. How is it to see so many big streamers showcasing the game? Do you have any favorite that has streamed it so far? What is your impression of other big streamers streaming the game?
Yeah, it's really nice to see them play the game, especially Lyric now that he's come back 4 times now already to the game and plays it literally every evening. It's really nice to see. Uh, yeah, like I watched all of these streamers except XQC for a long time already, like Soda, Lyric, and so on. But I'm not sure if Soda will come back, but Soda's not streaming right now at all. But I guess he would have played more as well. But it's really nice to see these big North American streamers coming into the scene, really wanting to play and dueling each other and so on.
If you just spoke with Pack and he was lucky enough to collaborate or at least to play with one of his favorite streamers, who would if you could pick one streamer to maybe teach Trackmania or play with, who would that streamer be?
I mean, I'd love to help everybody out that I watch. So DNA streamers are nice, but I don't know. Getting in contact with them is hard. Like, funny story actually, like 50 minutes before this, somebody messaged me if I had contact to Lyric. So, but I don't. Unlucky.
Yet. You don't have it yet. Let's
Yet.
fix that.
Pretty hard to get in contact.
Yeah. But let's talk about some upcoming events for you. Like I mentioned, your latest big achievement was the second place in Lyon, probably the biggest achievement of your career. Now, the next season of Trackmania Grand League is coming up. But before that, a show match. How much have you prepared for that show match?
I'm trying to prepare like 2 or 3 hours per day with the stream. Sometimes in the evening, sometimes not. Depends on if I have time or not. If I'm doing something else. But yeah, I wanna perform, wanna show off. You know, it's the new game, new season, new teams, new people watching. You gotta perform.
So do you feel that, are you looking to perform on this? Do you actually take this show match serious, or is it for fun for you?
I'd love to place really good in it as well. Like not fully for fun, like a bit serious. It's obviously pretty hard because of the new game. Since I noticed that driving regular is not that easy as in the other games, because it's not in my brain to stay away from the barriers as easily as in the other games. So yeah.
But one of the bigger stories from the last season of Trackmania Grand League, you got into existence, quite a big team. Then you had to leave because they didn't hold up the contract. Then you ended up being one of the most successful players there. Have you gotten any big offers since your second place in Lyon? And do you even know what team you're playing for in the upcoming season?
No, as I don't think I said it on stream, but I said in my Discord that I have a new team by now, but obviously not public. But yeah, we had a lot of offers and such. But was kind of a bit of battling here and there. I had a sad story with another orc who left Team Gel again because of circumstances and so on. But we're decent orcs, and I'm really glad for what I have now. But yeah, you guys have to wait until the show match or somehow in this week when it will be revealed.
Oh, damn, keeping us on the fence here. But can you say that are you at least happy with what you're offering now? Does this look more promising than what you had the first impression of existence?
It's obviously the best offer I've ever gotten in my history because the game is now at its biggest peak esports wise. So yeah, definitely better than what I had back then. This was all a mess back then.
But we talk about big streamers, and something to mention here is that you are actually one of the more popular streamers in Trackmania now. If you look at who actually is a Trackmania player, how much do you actually focus to grow your Trackmania stream now that there is a new game, probably a lot of hype? Do you actually plan to stream? Do you actually plan to grow your channel as well?
I'm planning on keeping what I'm doing right now. I want to try to keep up, and it's at least gonna stay up until physically, like studying physically, is back on. And that will be in November, so I have a lot of time until there to see how it goes. But I'm trying to keep up the schedule, like at least 4 hours a day, maybe one day off per week or something. And yeah, outside of Twitch, although not that much, like I'm not planning on doing YouTube or something yet.
Yet.
Yes, I'm not an editor, and if I stream 5 to 6 hours every day or something, then it's gonna be hard to edit in the evening.
Yeah, exactly. For a guy who actually likes to watch the best players play against the best, it was kind of sad to see once you posted it on Twitter that you were somewhat officially banned from the CRT event that is coming up. Uh, were you surprised that you got sort of information that essentially 1 year later, it seemed like you at least had no information about it before that? Okay, I'm actually officially banned from the CRT events for the continued future.
Yeah, I had no information on it. Like I just got a message out of the blue by John. Yeah, you're banned by the way forever. And I was like, what? Like one day before release, I was like, wait a second, what? wrote
Yeah.
back with him, thought about it, but yeah.
So there's no, if you talk about it today, there's no like clarification about it. You're not unbanned. They are not told you why you are, like a deeper explanation about why you're banned.
No, the only thing I got is that staff decided on this. Like I asked why they do it, they never talked, like Zerita never talked to me and so on, but the message kind of seemed like Zerita had almost no part in the decision, but mostly his staff was upset. And that again is a bit weird because it was basically me against the staff also at the event, which caused the problem. So them calling the ban is always a bit weird, but yeah. I mean, I accepted it and it's fine, but making the decision 1 year later is just a total mess. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, because obviously it's sad to see that you are now not able to play in the CRT event because you were one of the biggest favorites heading into the last year's offline edition, where you eventually got knocked out in the semifinal. But this also robbed you of the opportunity to be a beta tester, because if you beta tested a Trackmania game, you're not allowed to play in the CRT event. But now that you know you were not allowed to play it either, would you have liked to actually be a beta tester for this game and maybe then Adeo then can have an input from a professional player?
Yeah, this was actually the ban itself was I was almost more upset about this opportunity being like that I couldn't take this opportunity just because they were too lazy or to do anything before that date, like to do it so late. I would have loved to help the game out itself because they had no like super high tier players in there or something. Yeah, they had some good players, but no one would was currently competing in highest divisions. Thing.
We might have jumped a bit too far here. I've seen some Lumar in the chat asking about sort of the reason behind it. Can you give us a short explanation about what happened in Strasbourg that eventually led them to? I was there myself, but I didn't recall any like outrage. I just saw you on stage. Were frustrated. I saw you, of course. I filmed you once you jumped out of the stairs and fell. But after that, I didn't see anything. Why? What can you tell us? Why? What happened?
So basically, my PC on stage had issues, but nobody basically noticed, or like nobody even noticed me not even playing around because my PC was literally frozen and so on. And they didn't restart rounds or anything because of PC issues. My PC didn't get fixed. They just said play on. And yeah, after the famous jump off the stairs backstage, I screamed at the game, like threw my control on the ground and screamed at John for why is he not doing anything? It's just unfair and so on. Very like almost crying and so on. And then yeah, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think I only said this is just not fair. It's not fair, and screaming at John basically backstage. So the ban is deserved, at least for a year. And yeah, but what really made me mad afterwards again was same issue happened next match with Papu. And what do? Instant swap, whole setup, PC, everything. But for me, they did nothing.
Yeah, like I said, that's a guy who essentially I don't care what tracks are played. I just want the best of the best to play against the other best players at the biggest stage. So now that you are gone from the Serati event, that is sad. But what can we do about it? Just have to focus more about the Trackmania Grand League, and maybe this season you will step up from the second place to the first place, right?
Yeah, definitely going for it this season.
You think it's actually reachable, or do you feel that maybe you had a bigger chance in Trackmania 2 Stadium when you knew the game better?
No, I think I have a bigger chance here actually, because I think I can learn a new game a bit faster than Carl, for example. Although now I'm getting like seeing it, I'm getting a bit scared about Gwen because new game, young player, they always learn so quickly. So, yeah.
But that's it for people that want to follow you on stream. When are you streaming? I mean, you said that you are targeting the Asian market once I was talking to you in chat. When can people find you or catch you on a stream?
No, I'm streaming every morning from like 9 a.m. CST to basically either to lunch 1 p.m. or until like 3 or 4 p.m. Depends on how I feel at the day.
That's it for today. A short interview once again. The next one is coming up in 3 minutes, so I have to let you go. But appreciate you taking the time. Good luck in the show match as it's coming up this weekend. And then, more importantly, good luck in the upcoming Serati. No, not Serati, the Trackmania Grand League. Yeah. I wish it was Serati. That's why my brain said it.
Oh, man. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man. That's it. Bye-bye. Next interview is Massa coming up shortly. Stay tuned, guys. Hope so.
Oh, okay. Ah, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, try to grind as well.
My own map. You know, like I got challenged. Go get WR on your
Yeah.
own map. You get like a sub or something.
And once again, we are back after some small technical problems here in the break, but nonetheless, we are back now with Massa. The next guest after that is Kappa, so stay tuned for that. But I'm joined by Mr. 305 in Trackmania. Massa, how is life? How are you doing with the new game?
Hey man, hello everyone. Right, this is live, right?
This is live, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm alright, man. I'm doing okay, and the new Trackmania is off to a great start, I guess.
You guess. I mean, looking at your stream numbers, looking at your stream time. I mean, yesterday you streamed like 9 hours or so it's going good, right?
Oh yeah, man. I don't fucking know how I did that, but I did it. Yeah, it's
I said,
going great. Yeah, I'm enjoying my time the past couple days.
I mean, you probably streamed more this week than you did in the whole 2019, right?
Yeah, well, let's say in the whole 2020. But yeah, could be about right.
Hmm. For people that might not know you, I can tell people that you are one of the most dedicated people about it. You seem to always be one of the most positive people once it comes to what is coming up. You're positive about Trackmania Grand League once it was announced. Now you're positive about the new game. But now the new game is here. Are you still positive about it? Do you still believe that this can be what makes Trackmania essentially become a mainstream game?
Yeah, I am still positive about it. I mean, I have given my feedback or like criticism towards Hylis or slash Trackmania. What is like not going the best and everything, but the potential about the game is huge. Like so many new players, so many new viewers, followers, influencers. Like I don't know, it's looking awesome. They just have to do the right moves, I guess, and that's what we just have to wait and see.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's good that now, because you also was pretty vocal about maybe if you are to beta test a game, maybe the best players should beta test it, but let's move on from that. But now that the new game is out, you are giving feedback to them. Can you tell the chat that maybe not have followed your Twitter about what you want to be changed? What is the main thing that you think the game should change, maybe add to make this game even better?
Well, the first few things I said was like the layout and everything. It's way too complicated. The hut, it looks also like pretty, cheap and everything. It's nice to keep it simple and such, but it does look cheap. It's super like I don't know how you say that, confusing. It's super tricky if you're not a like Trackmania veteran and you just want to try out the game for fun, and it's that complicated. Like I don't know. It's a big minus, and that's what I don't know. Everyone could have seen as beta tester, to be honest. And there's so many translations which are like wrong, and I don't know. There's so much in the hut and the layout, of the game, which
Mm.
is like scaring people away probably. And the most important thing is people said they're working super hard on the game, like 24/7 and everything, but there weren't like rarely any patch notes or no patch notes at all. They need to show that they're working on it. They need to show it's worth it paying for the club access or the standard or whatever. It's worth actually putting your money in, and
Mm.
not just here's the game and there are bugs, but are they actually working on it? Let me check Trackmania Twitter or Trackmania, I don't know, Facebook, I don't fucking know. But I would say Twitter is the way to go nowadays, and they're just not posting anything. But
Mm.
I think they started to do this now. That's a great step, I would say. Yesterday's changelog was pretty sick.
Mm.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good that you are vocal about it because you are one of the biggest players. So, I mean, if somebody is going to get response from, let's say, Hillis or somebody from Adeo is a big player, but do you feel that you are actually being heard? That once you vocal and say, hey, maybe you should change this, hey, maybe you should do this, do you feel that they hear you? Or do you feel that every time the response is like, yeah, we are working hard. So, yeah, we are thinking about it, but we are already working hard. So they're not essentially giving you a direct answer.
I must say it's a bit of a French mentality they have. They get offended pretty quickly. That's just something in general I have noticed about the developers or like Hylis himself and everything. But I did get answers. I did have even a pretty huge discussion with Hylis. And yeah, I don't know. They change the things. They at least look into the things. And I think, yeah, I'm being heard. I like it.
But you
But
mentioned
yeah,
that you mentioned that this maybe be a confusing game for new people. You are now reaching numbers because you are being hosted by some people like Trilux, some people from the big clan. What what is the impression you have from maybe people that haven't watched Trackmania before? Do they like it? Are they just confused? Do they understand what is going on? Do you have any feedback from your chat about this?
Well, I would say like 90% of the viewers or even more are just impressed and enjoy like, the gameplay, because obviously, if you have a lot of hours, you're 10 times better than someone who's just, trying to actually get through a track or through a map. But when it comes to players and everything, people are really like having way too many questions. Like all these questions. What is the advantage of club? What is the advantage of starter? What is like they need to like look forever to actually find something, like
Mm.
to find like this. There's this little spreadsheet or whatever it is. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's this one picture where it shows everything. It's like not easy to find for them, Like it should be somewhere like instantly when you want to buy this game, or I don't know where they can put it, but yeah, it's a bit confusing for them, and yeah, I would say when it comes to viewers, only positive feedback. Like I haven't seen anything negative. Like what the hell are you playing? Only like people are actually being impressed, and yeah, it's one of the easiest games to understand and also impressive at the same time. Easy to
Mm.
understand, hard to master. Basically, that's the Trackmania game,
Yeah.
and I'm loving it so far. So yeah, let's hope the hype keeps up. Let's hope the hype keeps up.
Yeah, and something you mentioned once you were speaking with me in a, let's say on Facebook in the private chat, was that you have a lot of viewers, but maybe more importantly, a lot of your viewers are German. So maybe now the German scene can grow up. Maybe they can feel somewhat attached to you and eventually cheer for you in Trackmania Grand League. Do you think that maybe this new game can bring up some bigger scenes in Germany, maybe back to LAN events in Germany? And what is the reason behind it? Is it simply because Trilix is back, or is there a bigger picture here?
I think it's a bit of a bigger picture, but Trilux is definitely having a huge impact on this. But I do have to say that in general, also Big is having like huge success lately. They are also gaining fans, like as org, and people are just tuning in because I'm in Big, or because Trilux is like kind of connected to me as well. So like it's everything a bit coming together, and I do feel like that Germany has huge potential. It always had, or there has always been a huge scene.
Hmm.
So I have high hopes for Germany. Yeah, I have high hopes.
Do you know if Big is planning to do anything? Are they maybe looking for to contact offline events to eventually get a LAN event in Germany? I mean, I've traveled to France now. I think it's 8 times. I've not been in any other country at a LAN event. I need to
Yeah, I
go
feel you.
outside France.
I feel you, man. I've been there like fucking 15 times as well. So yeah, it would be nice. I don't know. Well, first of all, I couldn't say anything about this, but I can tell you that we are looking to get into Trackmania more and more. Not just me being there as player. Also, the management has been way more aware of Trackmania. We are working actually on some stuff, and it just takes time. Like obviously games like Counter Strike and stuff, they have more. First comes first them, right? Than us, or than me
Yeah.
rather. But they also have a player break now, and the feedback I get from the management and everything is very overwhelming. And you guys can expect something from Big themselves as well. Maybe not a LAN event, but definitely an event.
That's super cool to hear. But let's talk about you as a player then. Two big upcoming events pretty soon in the new game. Already a show match now this weekend, and then the weekend after we're gonna have Serati qualifiers. If you just tell people what event are you looking the most to perform at? Is it the Trackmania Grand League or is it the Serati Cup?
Uh, that's a hard one. Um, I don't know. Neither.
Whoa.
I don't know how to explain this. For me, to be honest, it's all about getting to know the game and learning everything and getting ready for the actual Grand League season. Um, I've said that I want to play the Surveyor Cup. Yes, I've also said that I want to try out it. Yes, but right now it's just like everything coming together. Set of team maps, TMGL, show match maps. You also want to play like the campaign. You also want to learn all the tricks. You also want to hunt something. It's like all coming together. Like I will, I cannot put fucking 100 hours. That's just not what I am. A week per event, but I will definitely try my best in both cups. probably not gonna do the best, to be honest with you, but my goal is to be ready for the TMGL season and just take anything I can away from ZRT/TMGL show match.
Yeah, but if you look at it, then the bigger event than the Trackmania Grand League season is Trackmania Grand League Fall 2020. How serious are you taking that? You didn't qualify to the playoff last time. Is that your main goal now to actually secure yourself a spot in the top 8? And how reasonable do you actually think it is to predict you as one of the top 8 players?
Well, to be honest with you, I am playing a lot. I'm grinding a lot. And if you do that, there's only one goal. You want to be the best. Also, you have to be realistic, of course. But my goal is obviously to, get a good result in the next season. And obviously that means including playoffs. So yeah, I am gonna try hard like crazy the new season. And I'm just enjoying my time right now like never before. Like, I think it's kind of known. I need to be motivated and everything to do my best. And yeah, I am hella motivated and I'm loving the new game. So I'm just looking forward to the season and I can definitely do better than last season. That's for sure.
I appreciate you taking the time, Massa. For people that want to listen to you more or ask you a question personally, when are you streaming? Is there any stream coming up tonight? You're already ruined my sleep schedule, so I guess I can throw more people under the bus. Are you streaming late tonight as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna start probably now,
Yeah, okay.
right after this interview. So yeah, I'm gonna be live soon.
At twitch.tv/Massa, right?
Yes, just Massa.
There we have it, boys. If you want to listen to Massa more, or if you want to learn about from stuff from Massa or ask him a question, go to twitch.tv/Massa pretty soon and he will be live. Appreciate you taking the time, Massa, and good luck in the upcoming events.
Thank you as well, and good luck with the rest of the interviews.
Yeah, thank you.
No
That's it.
problem.
Next up is the Kappa and then Spam after that. A little break now, so stay tuned. And once again, we are back after some problems in the break here. Hopefully, you're still with us, and if not, I don't know who I'm talking to. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk to the world champion from 2018, and now he's looking to be streamer of the year 2020. He's from Czech Republic. It's Martin Krompols, aka Kappa. Kappa, how are you, man?
Hello Eirik, hello G-Geek, hello everyone. I'm pretty fine. It's been quite a boring day actually. Just did a bit of streaming, but now the best part of the day is upcoming, and there's obviously an interview with the one and only.
I mean, appreciating someone saying that it's the best part of the day. But can you tell us simply? This is a sort of Trackmania Live to ask the top players about what their first impression of the new game is. So let's not waste any time. What is your first impression of the new game? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? And tell us what is your first impression.
The first impression, I would speak about my impression as a pro player, because that's what I care about. What I care about the most is obviously the gameplay, if it's buggy, if it's flowy, if it looks good. And I would say from that perspective, it's almost perfect, But there's the other part of the game that Massa was speaking about previously, and I would agree with a lot of stuff that he said, and I don't think I need to repeat on that. But it sometimes it feels like the game is not finished at all. Also today, me and Spam were playing on a TMGL server, or we tried to create a server with TMGL tracks, for instance, and we couldn't even see each other. We were connected on the same server and we couldn't even see each other, which is, well, that doesn't make any sense, and we both had to pay for the club access, and a lot of the functions just don't work, and it's not a little money, we had to pay. So I think they really should try to fix most of the stuff as soon as possible, because sometimes it looks like it's a little bit of rip off,
Yeah, but I agree with you maybe there that now is actually the most important time to actually show people that is coming in that, yeah, this is actually a good game. This is not any game with flaws. And imagine if you are a complete new player to this and say, okay, I'm actually going to dedicate myself to Trackmania. I'm going to pay $60, and then eventually you end up with you're missing a feature, playing with rounds with friends and such. But do you feel that this is something that the Ubisoft is working on? Do you feel like this is something that is easily flexible, or do you think that it might actually take a while until we end up feeling like this game is somewhat finished?
Okay, but we have to remember that the game has already been postponed by 2 months. I thought the pause was made to prevent any mistakes like that, to make them be able release the game completely finished. But in fact, what we are getting a completely unfinished game. I mean, the gameplay is awesome, but as Massa was speaking about, and also I added to it, but there's a lot of stuff that is not working. And I personally would love to also host a tournament for the Czech scene, because this is the best time to grasp all the people that are new to the game, that probably are reviving their emotion that they had 10 years ago, and we would like to put them together and get back to the game. But how are we gonna do that when we can't even host a server right now? How are we gonna do that? So there's a lot of these things. I mean, the gameplay is awesome. I would just have to repeat myself, but the game just feels unfinished. This is like beta version of the game, and I mean, if they don't fix it too early, I feel like it's a bit of a ripoff. I mean, I will play the game anyway, we will stay, but the point of the new game overall, I guess, was to bring the attention to the game, and it's just not finished,
Yeah. But let's talk about you as a player then. Some people brought up maybe that the new ice is more aimed towards, or not aimed towards, but maybe favorable for pad players because you need more smooth movement. Can you tell us, do you feel any disadvantage now that the new game, because you are a keyboard player? Do you feel any maybe advantages because you're a Cam 1 player? Tell us, how do you see yourself as compared to other players? Do you feel that you have more or less advantages now?
Well, about my camera, I think this was the most favorable camera going into this game, because some people have been complaining about camera 2 working on the ice. Also, camera 3 has been really bullied from the beginning, but now it has got back. But I think it's not the same. It's like put a bit lower, but I'm not too sure. I'm not a Cam 3 user. But yeah, about keyboard, that's a bigger issue, honestly. I actually got an analog keyboard. You might have noticed that. Yeah, I got it today earlier. I have already tried it. It could be a big thing because there's a lot of blocks that require a very gentle steering, so to speak. And yeah, that's obviously not possible with keyboard, with a digital input, and with the Trackmania physics. So I feel a bit disadvantaged, but I mean, I've always been a bit disadvantaged, and it's my decision to play with a keyboard. So I'll just have to adapt as much as I can, and probably the analog keyboard is my solution.
Ask pretty much everybody who has been a guest at this point about this question, because you are the top players and you are then looking to play the top event. You have two big events coming up. It's Trackmania Grand League and it's the ZT event. Can you tell people, how are you looking to do at these events? Is there any event you prioritize over the other? Tell us, people, how are you preparing for the upcoming weeks and months in Trackmania?
Well, the answer is quite simple, because the week of qualification for ZRT is the wedding of my good friend, and I won't be available on that weekend, so that makes me available to play. And my only objective right now is obviously the TMGL show match, and probably I'm trying also to discover the game a little bit more, get to know the ice blocks and find out about the new tricks. But I will not play that RT, but the more I will try to focus on TMGL show match, which I would love to win, because it would be really awesome to start off in the new game with a victory.
So if you're looking to do a bet in my Trackmania betting league, it's not a bad thing to put you first there, right?
It's always a risky card, honestly. to bet on me is never a safe bet, because even if I'm practice in the group stage, it's for me it's sometimes really difficult to keep myself concentrated for 80 minutes straight. I tend to make maybe one or two mistakes, every 8 minutes, and sometimes it's a bigger one. So that can be very costly, but I will try to work on that. It's really difficult, because sometimes when I get into the flow, I become very relaxed, and then I start thinking about something else, and that's the start of the end.
But if you look at the show match, sure, it's fun to do well there, but I guess your bigger picture is to maybe win the Trackmania Grand League fall season. Do you think that there is going to be some changes in how the players are going to look up against each other, or maybe face against each other? Like, you think maybe you had a clear goal about being top 4 in Trackmania 2 Stadium. Do you still believe that you are one of them, or do you think that maybe now everything can switch up because it's a new game, it's new surfaces, maybe it's a new player in Gwen coming up? How do you see the Trackmania Grand League playing out?
Well, speaking of Gwen, I can see him getting in top 4. Obviously, he has definitely the potential, but it's not only him. I mean, we'll have to see, but I don't think like the game is really gonna change that much to kick me out of the top 3 battles. I don't think that's gonna be the case. We will really have to see how the maps will look, because looking at the show match maps, I think I'm really there. I can be the best on these tracks, but if I'm gonna do that, who knows? But the other question is, will the maps look the same when the season proceeds? I have no idea how the maps will look like in 1 month, in 2 months, or in a half a year. So for now, it's all good, but who knows what will come?
Actually, a question from the chat here. I guess we have time to bring it up as the last question from Griffix. He's asking, do you think that the field in Trackmania Grand League will be closer now that you have the respawn system where your car actually has speed once you start instead of standing still?
Yes, and no, not only because of that, but also because now I feel like all 16 players are almost almost all of them would be considered top 16 in the world, and that all of them are now motivated, because in the previous seasons there were always good players, but some of them were lacking motivation. But now with this organization system, and also the system where if you play bad, you are just getting kicked off the league, and probably will have to grind one season, at least one season, to get back. And no one can afford it now, everyone has to play good, and no one will take it like less seriously than he should. So I think all people will be trained and all people are on the top level. So yeah, the matches will be really close, really.
Thank you so much for taking time. If people are looking to find you on a stream, you are, like I mentioned, looking to be streamer of the year 2020. When is the next stream from Kappa?
I have no idea. I'm going out right after this interview, so maybe tomorrow, but maybe in 2 days.
Well, if you want to follow him, it's twitch.tv/Kappa Velos, right?
Yes, Kappa Veloce.
Veloce. There we have it. Thank you again for taking so much time to speak with me, and don't be surprised if I hit you up for maybe a podcast instead of this 10-minute interview here.
I cannot wait already. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's it for Kappa. Next one is Spam, and then Matt is coming up after Spam. So stay tuned. Hopefully no technical problems in this break. But yeah, stay tuned. Bye-bye. And once again, we are back. Now we are halfway through it, and so far with less problems than I expected. We're actually on schedule, and let's hope it keeps that way and I don't jinx it now. But let's move over to the next guest. It's Spam. I call him the face of the streaming scene in Trackmania. And if you are the face of the streaming scene, I guess you like the life in Trackmania at the moment with over 100,000 viewers on Twitch streaming or watching Trackmania. But Spam, tell us, how are you at the moment? Are you busy or is everything as usual? Are you feeling the impact from the new game?
I'm definitely feeling the impact, and it's definitely not the usual day for me anymore. I've been putting a lot of effort into streaming hours and creating some nice content also for YouTube, and it's the last 4 or 5 days I've just been. It's like everyone is blowing up. My numbers have doubled. I mean, everyone's numbers are doubling right now, and it's just, I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, you can tell people that you are streaming for so long, then you know that there's a new game coming out. You know that this is going to be a big opportunity. Did you plan stuff beforehand? Is it maybe going from day to day to see what the viewers like? How are you as a streamer planning out this process and the new game and trying to eventually benefit as much as you can from it?
Yeah, it's a really fun question because the last 2 years I've contemplated stopping at all, like completely. But every time when I am like, yeah, I'm gonna stop right now, and then I get a new organization. Okay, then I keep going, right? Then I get invited to Grand League. Okay, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's time now. No, there's gonna be a new game release. So it's like a constant thing that like boosts the motivation again to keep going. Yeah, it's just crazy. I've been doing this for like, I think my first stream was back in 2011, and in 2015 or 16 I just did it like way more than usual. So yeah, it's crazy to see that the game is blowing up right now, and it definitely deserves all the exposure.
But from your chat, you have dedicated fans that is following you for then a long time. They have watched a lot of Trackmania content. Are they liking what they see? Do they enjoy the new game? What is the feedback from your community about this new game?
I think it's mostly positive. Like the only negative things that you see is about the limitations that the free version have, or the subscription model, or that it's not on Steam. I haven't really seen anything gameplay wise that is really negative. Maybe the ice, but the new blocks in general like get a lot of flag, but like it's the first few days, so everyone is still learning. But besides that, I think everyone enjoys the game mainly because of the hype. Like
Mm.
that is just what is fueling the game right now.
Yeah, you talk a lot about the hype. How long do you think the hype is going to stick around for? How long do you think that we will have these numbers that we have at the moment on Twitch?
I think it really depends on. I mean, the numbers for me and let's say Riolu and all these other streamers that have been streaming the game for a long time, they will stay. But it really depends on the player or the new people that are streaming. I saw like earlier today, Papa Plate was streaming. It's a German streamer who played also in the chess Polk Champs event. Not sure if you're familiar with it, but
Yep.
it's a big name that is picking up the game, and I think he was streaming with Trilux. So yeah, it's like the German community is getting together. Like these massive streamers in NA are streaming it, and if they continue to do it, then Trackmania will be in the forefront of Twitch, and it just stays like how it is right now. I don't think it's gonna grow even further than the peak that we had on day 1 or 2, but it's definitely gonna stay like how it is right now.
You mentioned that you have now for the last 2 years been at some points in your career saying, this is the end. But if you look now into the future, do you have any idea about what this can do for the future? Do you think that this can eventually maybe make you stay for another 2 years? Do you think that if this game dies out around New Year's, then you leave? Can you tell us, how do you think this game influenced your overall career in Trackmania?
Well, I don't really have a lot of things planned besides finishing the Trackmania Grand League. Obviously, it's a main thing, and after that, I just have to see what's up. Like I'm turning 26 in 2 weeks, so I'm getting to an age where I have to basically decide or think about my future as well. But I'm gonna continue on going as long as I can because I still do enjoy it, and I love it, and yeah, if I can do it, why wouldn't I?
You're mentioning 26 and talking about that as a bad age. I'm 26. Hey, man, I'm still thinking around in Trackmania. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's about the time in your career. And I mentioned this a lot of times that the sort of top scene in Trackmania at the moment is maybe at a generation point when what do they do in the future of their life? Do they stick to Trackmania? Do they have as much time as they have? Or will they eventually leave? Do you think that maybe more players will eventually leave Trackmania because you're getting to an age where should I really spend that much time in a game, or should I actually see what else there is to do in life?
I think a lot of people are gonna come to this age and they have to realize like that you cannot do this forever, right? It's impossible. There's gonna come an age where you think like, okay, nah, it's time.
Mm.
It's time to let it go, and then the newcomers come in. Like Gwen is a great example. I mean, he has been playing for years as well, but he is still like young and fresh. And we need people like that to quote unquote replace the veterans under us, because we're not gonna be here forever, especially the older people. So yeah, there needs to be like new blood to get in the game and get involved. And yeah, I mean, maybe it happens this year, maybe it happens next year. We'll have to wait and see.
But you actually think that there will be some new players in the scene? I mean, you mentioned Gwen, who is already somewhat established there now with his qualification to Trackmania Grand League. But I saw you, it was today that you posted on Twitter or on YouTube, sorry, that you went through your run at ESWC. It was ESWC 2011. It's 9 years ago, and you're still at the last big event in Trackmania, which was Trackmania Grand League and Leon Esport, fifth and fourth. So you're still a top player. 9 years. I mean, do you think that you are just too good for players to catch up to you guys, or do you think that now a new game, this skill gap, will be shorter and eventually we can see new players in the top?
Yeah, I definitely think the skill gap is going to be shortened right now, especially with all the new services. I mean, I have to basically learn it as well. So everyone starts almost at the same level. Maybe I have a better background, and a little bit more skill, but like the learning curve for me is going to be longer than someone who is way younger than me. That's a known thing. But yeah, I hope the skill gap is gonna get smaller. I mean, we've seen it throughout the years already that the skill gap is getting smaller, and competition is way more tight. And it's not like one person is dominating. I mean, obviously, Carl Jr. could be an example of like ultra domination, but we've seen Kappa right now like challenging. We've seen Tween, we've seen Pack. Like the skill gap is getting smaller and smaller. So throughout the years and with this new game, it's definitely gonna be that case.
And we talk a lot about you as a streamer, but let's move over to you as a player then. Do you think that you will still be one of the best players in the new game? Do you think that you are too old to learn new things, as you say, that you eventually other people will benefit from a new game? What is your personal views or personal goals in the new Trackmania as a player and a competitive player?
I still think that I'm definitely a top 5 player. Like I'm not a top 1 player. Like I've made complete peace with that. Maybe on a lucky day I can still win a competition. But I consider myself always a top 8 contender. So like looking at the next season for Grand League, I am gonna be a top 8 contender. Like there's no doubt about that. Like I'm gonna do my ultra best to stay in the top 8 for as long as I can. And it's like I can kind of compare it with like I've been following bodybuilding for quite some time, and there's this 52-year-old bodybuilder, and he has always been like a top 5 placer, and he always said like when he decides to place outside of the top 8, he's done. He quits.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of, I might be in the same thought process. Like if I'm gonna get like 10th at like 2 or 3 events, then I know okay maybe I should just become a Bergie and coach someone.
Or you stick
Yeah.
around until you're 52 years old.
Yeah, or that. Yeah.
But you said you watched the interviews that I've done so far today, and I guess this is then an obvious question for you. You expected it. You have 2 events coming up, Trackmania Grand League, Zeta T event. Which of those events are you more favorable on looking to perform as and taking more serious?
I think for me it's more the Grand League. I think for the ZRT Cup, you really have to play every single day. I mean, there are people that play just the ZRT maps for like 8 hours a day. Like there's no way I can force myself to play 8 hours a day on these ZRT maps. I mean, I am gonna play, and hopefully I get far. Like, but right now my focus is on Grand League, and then next week I will go full hard mode on the Zerator Cup maps. Yeah.
You mentioned Trackmania Grand League. Something that is happening after we was in Lyon is the news that you are no longer part of Diffuse Kids. You are orgless. Is there any news about you as a? I asked Scrappy about it, and he said he's obviously not going to announce it here. I don't expect you to announce it, but can you say, do you have an org? Do you know that? Are you secured, or maybe you start Trackmania Grand League as an orgless player?
Everyone will have an org.
Okay.
I'll just I'll keep it at that.
So you're not gonna say if you feel secured about. Do you have an org?
I don't know.
You will have an
you
org.
have to, you have to wait and see who has what org. But everyone will have an org, yes.
But if you look at then you're a top player and you have been along for a long time, so I guess you have a good view of the top field in the game. Do you think who is going to be the winner of Trackmania Grand League? Is it once again Carl after what he did in Lyon? Is it maybe Gwen who said he's a new player and can learn stuff faster? Who do you see as the main favorites for the upcoming Trackmania Grand League season?
I think it's really going to depend on how the maps are going to look, because we have no idea how or what these mappers are going to build for us. In Mania Planet, you had your dirt, you had your platform, you had your few jumps, but right now it's like completely different. Also with the penalty system on the different blocks where you touch the grass, you just lose tremendous amount of speed, or you touch the lighter sand. Like all these things are gonna be we have to wait and see how the maps are gonna evolve. And I think the person who adapts the quickest is gonna yield the best results. And that could be me, that could be Riolu, that could be like Gwen, or maybe it's Massa. Like we don't know. It's really gonna depend on the maps.
I take some pride in making Pack play with the Sidemen and Circa there, bringing them together. You are a streamer. I say you are a face of the streaming scene in Trackmania. If you could pick a content creator or a streamer that you would love to maybe teach Trackmania or maybe be playing Trackmania with, do you have any streamer that you want to see playing Trackmania that maybe haven't played, or maybe someone that has already played that you would love to play against and play with?
If I had to say like a Dutch content creator, it would probably be like there's this guy called Gameneer. He has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he is really into Formula One. Yeah, I watch his videos, and he's always really entertaining in Dutch, and like I'm Dutch as well, so that could be a nice thing. But if I had to pick like an international streamer, I mean, any of the big streamers would be like insane to play with. I actually thought about this in my last stream to organize like or write a document and send it over to Twitch or Omar about Twitch rifles, where all of the 16 TMGL players gets paired up with a streamer, and it's basically a duo tournament. And I don't know, I think it would be so fun to see like every single TMGL player having a casual streamer under their wings and just play a tournament against each other. I think it could be a nice thing, but yeah, I didn't start writing it yet, so it's just an idea.
Yeah, after I watched Lyric and XQC play 1v1, actually the same idea. It was like, this is perfect for Twitch rivals.
Yeah,
Fun
I saw your
streamers.
tweet.
Yeah, big streamers that essentially has no clue about the game, playing against each other. People have fun with it because they like the content creator. And Trackmania, as a competitive esport, gets somewhat of an attention from it. And let's make it happen. You're bigger than me, so I give the torch over to you. Send a
I mean,
document to
all right,
Omar.
I'll give the torch to someone else who writes it for me, and then
Omar,
send it to
Omar.
me. But yeah, I think the idea is really good, and I think it could be like actually really entertaining, because we've seen what Zerator can do with Trackmania, entertaining. So yeah, I think it could be good and would be really fun to watch and do as well.
If you have a streamer to then teach and give us name, who would you pick?
Oof. I have no idea. I actually have no. There are just too many. Like, you want to play with Lyric, you want to play with Soda Poppin, you want to play with all these big names because they're like not even just for the exposure, but because how they are as a person on stream. They're entertainers. They're funny. They troll. They meme. They're like it. Yeah, any one of those would be sick.
I'm looking at the clock now. We're actually over time here. It's 21:15, so I already have a Matt looking to be the next one. But I appreciate you taking the time to do this. And if people want to follow you on Twitch, when are you streaming these days?
Tomorrow again. Tomorrow, like almost every single day, just not on Tuesdays. That is basically the schedule. Like early afternoon till late in the evening when the TTC starts. I really need to make a schedule, to be honest. I've been streaming without a schedule for so long. I'm always like, yeah, early, late afternoon. So that can be like from 12 to 5. But yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time, and good luck in the upcoming TMGL show match, in the ZRT qualification, and then eventually in the Trackmania Ground Leagues season.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well for doing all of this. It's awesome.
Yeah, I try my best. That's it for spam. Next up should be Matt if he's ready. I guess it's time to end it. That's it. Little break now, and then Matt is the next one.
Bye-bye.
Once again, we are back, going strong, not done yet. The next guy is from Brazil. He is the best player in the South America. Matt, how is life?
I guess it's going well. Apart from, I don't know, being a keyboard player and having to deal with stuff with my wrist, it's like, and a part of Corona, obviously, it's all going great.
Everything going great besides this, and this. But tell us,
Yeah.
this you already mentioned it, so I guess we can just jump into it. You mentioned the keyboard and the new game. How well do you feel that? Do you feel a more disadvantage now, more advantage being a keyboard player compared to being a pad player?
I believe from what I feel in the game right now that it is more advantageous to be a pad player. It's more disadvantage to play on keyboard, especially because you now have all the surfaces and different surfaces changing from like one that slows you down back to one that you have good grip, and no steering or just soft steering is such a big advantage that unless you do like Kappa and try to learn an analog keyboard, you won't be able to do that. And obviously ice is broken on pad.
But I guess something that maybe some viewers doesn't know is that you have some wrist problems. Can you tell people how serious are they at the moment? Have they healed up somewhat until the new game come out? Are they even getting worse? Tell people how is the wrist injury looking at the moment?
They had healed up, I guess. I had taken long pauses. I played way less per day and up until the game was released. And then the game was released and I started playing like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, maybe a bit more. I just I waited so long for it. I wanted to experience all of it at once, and it maybe wasn't such a good idea. So now it's back to being very annoying, sometimes even quicker than before. But I think it can be dealt with, but it's an issue anyways.
Yeah, but how do you actually? I mean, it's a lot of hype once this new game comes out. I understand that you want to play as much as possible, but if you look into the future, instead, let's say in 2 weeks, do you think that you will be able to hold yourself back, if you want to call it like that? Because then you have big competitions like Serati event, Trackmania Grand League event, or are you just gonna go pedal to the metal and eventually play until it's no longer possible to play because of your wrist?
I think like I want to have this mentality that I can stop if it's necessary. But at the same time, I know that I probably won't. I know that I will probably just go and play as much as I can. It's like I love the game. I just want to play it most of the time. I sometimes I obviously have period times or time periods that I just play a little bit of another game, but I'll always be like in the back of my head, like when will I go back to Trackmania? I miss it. I want to play it again.
But then, have you been at the doctor? And if so, are they saying like, yeah, stay away from gaming? And you're like, yeah, of course. And then you go home and play games. Have you actually gotten some official, I don't know, medical term for it?
Well, I think right after the TMGL combine was done, I went to the doctor. They said I had epicondylitis in my elbow. It's basically like tendinitis. So that was one thing. But then I had to work with it. I was doing physiotherapy, a lot of other stuff, and then Corona started. So I
Yeah.
stopped everything, and I haven't still gone back to doctor, but I have different kind of pain now. So it might have solved that issue, and then other issues are starting. It's I have no clue. I need to go to the doctor.
Yeah, and something that is maybe something to bring up here is the Corona situation. I might forget to ask you because it's somewhat normal here back in Norway. But looking at the newspapers here in Norway, it's like Brazil is put up as one of the worst countries. But tell us, how is the situation being a Brazilian in Brazil at the moment? Is everything somewhat under control? Is it full chaos? How are yourself dealing with this situation?
I guess depending on the person you would ask, it like obviously people will perceive it differently. I think that it is a pretty bad situation. but especially because people don't want to believe in it. People thinking that a health issue is a political issue, and then examples like from my family, my grandparents still don't believe in it. They say that it's all blah blah blah, unnecessary talk, but it's on my city we reached like officially 80 cases, I think, and it's a super small city. We barely have 30 super small 30,000 inhabitants. Yeah, that kind of doesn't fit, but but it still, the numbers are growing every day. It still doesn't feel safe to go outside, but the government keeps pushing for us to go outside, and it is all fine. And I don't know, it doesn't sound to correct with when we look at the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad to hear, man, and just appreciate, or hopefully the future will be great for you and for Brazil. But let's move over to some topics that is maybe positive. It's the new game. If you are to describe to people what sticks out the most for you, what does sticks out the most for you in this new game? What is the main thing you will tell someone that asks you, what is the difference between Trackmania 2 Stadium and the new Trackmania?
Great question.
Thank you. Nothing?
It's hard to describe. I am not that good at formulating when an answer at this. I don't know. Maybe the game is like, it's different. It obviously sticks out as a whole differently, especially the way it looks. I would say it has its own way of being. It's kind of like the scenery, the blocks, the car. It all fits together into its own environment. The driving looks different. It doesn't feel that much different, but it looks different, especially with the wheels from the car turning a little bit more, apparently, even though your turning radius is the same. But I guess the game seems to fit in its own universe better than the other times.
So you're positive about the future for this game? Or I had Kappa on who was saying that this feels like maybe like a half-done game if you are a casual player. But do you feel it? Do you feel that maybe there is do you feel that this looks unfinished, or does it look finished to you?
I guess it looks like what it has, it's finished, but it still feels like it needs more. For example, with the event stop in game being locked, with new people or casual people coming and looking at it like, when does it open? But you don't have that information.
Yeah.
And also related to also the memes, but if you see any other iterations of the game, you have water. Now you don't have water anymore. It's just frozen water. But I guess it looks finished, but like for the casuals, they will look at it and they'll think that it's mostly okay. But if, for example, if with those bugs that keep happening, for example, the checkpoint timer bug, like for a casual that entered in that time span, he would not have a good experience. So I think I feel like in 1 or 2 months the game will be much more pleasurable to play than it is right now, even if you're a casual or a hardcore player.
Yeah. The first time I met you was in Strasbourg last year for the ZLT Cup. Now we sadly cannot meet in the real life because the Accor Hotels Arena was cancelled, but there is nonetheless a ZLT Cup coming up this year. The qualification is taking place next weekend. How serious are you taking this year's edition? Now it's in solo. Are you finally looking to maybe get your first big solo win, your first big solo podium place? How serious are you taking this year's edition?
I would say compared to last year, I have trained a little bit less, especially because of the TMGL show match being really close to it. But I want to take it seriously, yet I'm not really liking the maps that much compared to last year's, to the others editions maps. I don't know if I have a grudge against the blocks, the new blocks, if I don't feel that comfortable yet with the blocks, but it's obviously now, maybe with the system of you playing always against or knowing always what is the world record, I just end up feeling worse comparing to that. Not that I'm actually doing that much worse. Maybe it doesn't help or it doesn't. I just want to qualify as much as I can. I want to push forward to it, but right now I don't think I am capable of at this exact moment.
But if you then look at the other big event that is Trackmania Grand League, how serious are you taking that? Are you still part of Space Station Gaming? Tell us, what do we need to know about you in Trackmania Grand League?
I'm still in Space Station, and I think it's gonna be cool. Like the new remakes of the TM maps for the show match are different, yet I like them more than when I played them in TM2. So that kind of makes me feel different, especially the sausage blocks. The one where the middle of the roll is heightened. It's my favorite block for this new game, and it's being used quite a lot. So I look forward to see how creative the maps from the new edition will be using all this new stuff.
I talked a bit spam with it, and he came up with an idea, and you said in the chat that that was a good idea. So I'm going to ask you, essentially for people that didn't tune into Spam's idea, he said that 16 players in Trackmania Grand League should teach 16 big streamers playing in Twitch rivals. If you had to pick one streamer to teach, who would that streamer be and why?
Oof. Yeah. It's like out of 16 in the world, we would have to limit, like, it would come only 16 from the whole world. Who would I pick? I don't know. Maybe, obviously, most people would go for the most famous ones, but I don't have that much contact with many of the big streamers. My knowledge is limited to like a few from the ones who played. I would really like to teach XQC, especially because of the way how his personality is very explosive, says a lot of stuff that is normally wouldn't be normal. I think that kind of fits with me. We could understand each other in some point. Maybe not if he speaks too fast.
But XQC and Matt make it happen. But for people that we are already running over the time, but I'm going to blame that on some technical problems here and there. But
Timing! This is unbelievable timing.
I mean, we are coming to an end soon, so who cares at this point? But anyway, yeah, I was supposed to end it, so I guess Discord was like just giving me the hint of ending the interview here. But last question, or more like a promo for yourself. Tell people, where can they find you? What time do you stream? When do you stream? Tell people what they need to know if they want to hear more from you.
Twitch.tv/Matt___. I still don't know what's the name of that thing.
Underscore.
TM2. I will always be streaming Shitfest. Mondays 20 CEST or CET in a foreseeable future. And the other days I have no clue. Sometimes I'm streaming, sometimes I'm not. I can either be streaming late at night, I can be streaming like 4 p.m. for Europe. I look at the weather, it's like it's streaming weather, and then out of nowhere I'll go streaming. I really need a schedule.
Yeah, I guess the last question then is from Ansgar. He's asking, is Matt's going to change his name because TM2, you know?
I should. I think I'll leave it like that at this moment. I don't know. Maybe I'll remove the chew.
Yeah, maybe. But that's it. Discord was already telling me to leave you, so I guess I have to leave you now. And for people in the chat, the next interview is MiQuatro, and after that is Riolu. So stick around for the 2 latest interviews today. And if you have any questions for them, let me know. And if you want to follow Matt, go to Matt_TM2. If you're here in 2021, maybe it's Matt_TM, hopefully. I don't know. Thank you a lot for sticking up, Matt, and sorry about the disconnection.
No problem. Thank you for everything.
That's it. A little break now, and then MiQuatro is coming up. The second last guest today is from Finland. He has been patiently waiting all day to get on this live chat. MiQuatro, how is life in Finland? How are you doing? And how is the new Trackmania for you?
Well, overall, I'm feeling really good, and it's good to be back after a long time talking to you in an interview. So that's really cool after a long time, and all is good in Finland.
All good in Finland.
Not too many corona cases anymore, so it's pretty much under control here.
Yeah, the same thing here. It's sad to talk about Matt about the Brazil, but I guess sometimes you draw a lucky ticket and you are born in the Nordic countries, right?
Yeah.
Playing much disc golf lately?
Yeah, actually, I just played today one round with the famous Insane, Dignitas Insane.
And who won it?
Insane, of course. He's better than me. But I will catch up.
Good. Yeah, we need a Trackmania tournament in disc golf and not only bowling, because I mean I'm used to winning one thing, so I can probably win two things. But let's talk about the new Trackmania. That's why people are here. If you want to do a disc golf podcast, we can do that another day. But tell people, what is your first impression of the new Trackmania?
Well, overall, I feel really good about the game, and it's amazing to see how the game has come out when they released it. Like the graphics and the gameplay and the new blocks are really cool that they made, and at least for me, it makes me want to play the game more and more all the time. So I'm kind of like really hooked on it, and really want to learn all the new tricks and blocks and how they work.
Yeah, you're playing Track of the Day. You seem to have some success there. Is this the game that you are going to dominate in? Is it finally time to actually get a new Nordic player in the top scene?
Well, if I don't choke, because that has been my problem so far, getting to the LAN events and then choking when it counts. So hopefully that would be the case in this game. But I will need a lot of training on the new blocks and also on the new environments, like on the ice. Like the ice is way different story. Lot to learn there.
You're from Finland. You should be used to the ice. If I want to be stereotypical here.
Yeah, but I need ice skates for that. And a hockey stick and a puck.
Yeah, I talked now. You're my seventh guest, so I then talked to a lot of people now, saying what they feel about it. Do you agree with maybe Kappa that is saying that if you are looking at this from outside the esport world and outside the gameplay, that this game maybe looks half finished? Are you maybe more positive about the future for this game? What is your feeling about the game overall?
It's hard to see for a veteran player when you have played so much Trackmania already, so you kind of know where to find all the different kind of things like options or anything like that. Go to make a own track or something like that. So for me, it really hasn't been a problem. But from an outside perspective, I would say it's like the UI is missing some really key points. Like how do you, when you're a new player, can you find the options when it's hidden in the top bar or stuff like that. And also, when you're new to the game, there is really no any tutorial maps where the game would teach you like what buttons you would need to press to drive the car, or how to drift, or how everything else works, like respawning, etc. So I think that would be a really cool addition to the game, that there would be, like when you start the game, there would be instantly a tutorial map, like do you want to play this, and it would have some kind of hints while you drive it and tell you what can you do and how to drive the car.
Yeah, I also agree there, and I also think that is one of the problems I have, because we are so much inside this Trackmania bubble that we don't really get the view from a casual fan about what they think about it. We can have some sort of vision about it, but we don't really know. Do you think that maybe that is a problem for the game developers as well? They have now worked on Trackmania since 2003. That maybe in the back of their head they're like pre-consuming, or like they think that people should know this, but in reality, if a new player comes in, maybe they don't know where to find how to play online, how to build a map, and how to actually drive in Trackmania.
Yeah, I would imagine that that is some kind of a part of the issue. Like there is not that much tutorials or any kind of, how to say it, taking account like really new players to the game. So all of the stuff that there is at the moment at the game, I think it's much easier to find for a veteran player and not for the new player. So I think that is maybe part of the issue that they are like what's the word? Well, I don't remember the word, but they're already like they're assuming that you know the game already.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't know the word either. I was also going to ask it in the question, but hey, that's the downside to not being fluent in English.
Yeah.
But if you look at yourself as a player, it's a new game you have played it for now a week. If you're just to compare yourself on a skill level to the new Trackmania and then Trackmania 2 Stadium, do you feel that you're already catching up to the MiQuatro that was Trackmania 2 player? Do you still feel that there are some weeks and some hours to go before you feel as confident as you did in Trackmania 2 Stadium?
I think I have to take some more hours on the game to get on the same level as I was in TM2. At least on the multi-style tracks because of the new blocks and the new surfaces. But on the tech kind of tracks, I think there is a new tech tournament coming up, the Aun Cup. What's that called? I'm not sure, but I have tried those maps and they feel quite the same as the usual tech maps that was in the TM2, except of course the car feels different. It's a bit heavier. So I would say there's still few hours to, not few hours, but some days to get at least on the same level.
Yeah.
But it's a whole different story on the multi-style maps because I'm not that used to those kind of maps yet.
But that is
Well,
like, if
yeah.
you look at the upcoming events, this Serie T event, that is a whole different ballpark in terms of maps. And then you have Trackmania Grand League, which hopefully you will play in the Open Grand League. If I asked all the players this today as well, if you were to look at those events, which event are you aiming to do the best at? I've seen you playing both of them up, so tell people, are you aiming to do well in both? Is there some event that you pick out as, yeah, this is finally my chance to shine through and get my big breakthrough?
Well, I have driven already all the CRT maps through, and I I would say I'm not that strong on those yet, and it's still 1 week, and the qualification weekend is, so I'm not so sure about that. But I will definitely take part in that tournament and try to train as much as possible these few days I have still for the next weekend, like not this weekend but the next one. And when it comes to OGL, I think that is the main tournament for me. Like I'm gonna really put effort on those tracks and try to learn them as best as I can, so I can get to the combine and maybe in the future in the TMGL, because that just would be really awesome.
I think that will be really awesome, of course, for you as a player, because then you compete against the best players in the world. But I think that is something, if Nadeo could pick, I guess they had to pick a player from the Nordics, and then, of course, why not pick the best player in you and think that's going to be great for the Nordic scene, because then you have someone to cheer for. We have Riolu playing for a Norwegian org, but yeah, that is not necessarily a Norwegian player. So, of course, get a Nordic player in there. Do you think that you are the front runner for being the best Nordic player? Do you think that you are eventually going to be the guy, if there is a guy, to actually come in from the Nordic scene into Trackmania Grand League?
After TM2, I would say that I'm the front runner of Nordic players, but now when it comes to the new game, I can't really say it because I haven't really seen how everyone does there. So we will see that in OGL at least, if there is any other Nordic players taking part.
And a good question from SRK there. How do you think this development of the Finnish scene, is there a potential for newcomers once there is a new game? Do you think that a new game can maybe give some sparks to old players to come back? Do you think that this game can eventually help communities outside of France and then your own Finnish community?
Well, I definitely hope so, that the new game brings new players in Finland, and I have also seen, like when I have played the summer campaign maps, there has been some new unfamiliar names in the records. So at least there are some new players at least, and I hope they will try to compete in the tournaments and getting to know the new game and try to enjoy it, and from that become even better in the game and join me in the high ranks of Finland and Nordic countries.
Eventually knocking you
Actually,
down.
there is some not newcomer, but who made a comeback, and that's Cloney.
Oh,
He
really?
bought the game, and we have been talking to each other about the maps and stuff. So some
Are you
old face coming back.
are you afraid of your position as the best player in Finland?
Not at the moment, because he was he once was the teacher for me, but I think the roles has changed now because he has been so long time away from the game. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of teaching him now the ropes of the new game.
Yeah, but I also think it's cool that all players are coming back. But like I mentioned in the video I made about pack streaming with Circa, I think this is the perfect opportunity to get young people into the game. Because if you remember back to let's say when I was 16, then I had a lot of free time. But now that I'm getting closer to 30 than 20, I have less free time. Do you think that maybe people are too much hyped about all players? Like, yeah, I want Frostbuild to come back, but if I had to be honest, I would rather pick a new player to come up and being dominated instead of Frostbuild coming back and maybe being semi-professional.
Yeah, I agree with that. It would be cool to see new faces like we saw Gwen. He has been doing really good, and he has developed really fast to be a really good player. So it's also awesome to see some new faces challenging the veterans of the game.
A question from the chat, Mental Peak is asking, what is the best block and why is it ice?
It's actually quite fun block. Like when there is a flowy ice map that is done really well, it feels like you are going down the ice with the sled. The car just goes automatic, and you have to just turn a bit and stuff like that. But at first I got a bit mad about the ice because I didn't get it. And when there was the new track of the day that was whole track was made of ice, I and it was made good, so it was good map to learn the ice, and I quite enjoyed it. But when it comes to the favorite block, that's a tough question. It's definitely not the reactor boost or those, but maybe I would pick the ice. Yeah, I think it's new, it's fun to train, and it's enjoyable. So I think I would pick ice.
Yeah, I think that is something. I mean, in Trackmania 2 Stadium, you had a lot of specialists. You had a dirt specialist in Papu, you had a full speed specialist in Muda, you had tech in Kappa, Carl Jr., etc., etc. And now players have to learn a new environment. So maybe once you get into an ice part on Trackmania Grand League, you're like, oh, now MiQuatro comes into the ice, now he's going to overtake. Do you maybe think that you're going to use the advantage to maybe grind the ice more than others and see this as a potential to maybe get an upper hand on people that has learned tech like Carl Jr. for essentially 10 years?
I don't think I will no life ice. I like it, but I won't no life it. I will like drive it when I have to and enjoy it. Like nowadays, most of the maps are multi-style, so there's definitely gonna be tech parts or dirt parts or ice parts. So I'll try to sign on every one of them.
The last topic for me is that before the game was out, I did a lot of different tweets about who would you like to see as the big streamers, who would you like to see of the players streaming the game. I mentioned you as one of the players I would like to see streaming the game. And hey, now the new game is out. Now MiQuatro streams. Can you tell people how are you enjoying the streaming scene of Trackmania?
I'm actually enjoying a lot. Like it's fun to stream, and when there's some guys chatting in the chat and interacting with them, it's really fun and it's really fun to show them like how you drive the game and how good you are also on the game. And actually I have thought about starting the stream quite some time now, since TM2, when there were these tournaments like Zero to Hero or some team tournaments that I should like stream for a couple of hours when I train the maps or something like that, but I just never did that. And now when there's the new game, I thought maybe this is the time for a new chapter for me and start doing streaming. And here we are streaming.
And one of the good things about you, as I mentioned that in the podcast I did with you now, is way back that you have a unique nickname. You have a nickname that sticks out. You have the same Twitter handle. You have the same handle on Twitch. That's MiQuatro. So it's easy to find you. You don't have to like switch from underscore TM2 or put TM in front of your name. So if people want to find you, it's easy, right?
Yeah, unique name and a good one as well.
Yeah, like I said, maybe the potential for best nickname out there. But
Maybe
any finish?
best nickname of the year.
Maybe. I mean, I'm hosting my own Trackmania awards this time, so I don't need to be reluctant on a jury. I mean, if you give me an FD, like I said, I will give you all the awards.
All right, I will buy you Koskenkorva, so that's the deal.
But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. And for people that want to follow you, when are you streaming Trackmania? Is it when you feel like it? Is it a set schedule? Is it set dates?
Yeah, at the moment I don't really have any schedule since I'm working during the day, so I only have time in the evening. So usually I will post on Twitter when I'm live, but maybe tomorrow or at least on Friday.
And once again, I appreciate you taking the time, and see you at the next disc golf tournament there, so I can
Oh.
finally win something again. I mean, this lockdown, I cannot even win a bowling tournament and have to play disc golf by myself.
Yeah, always a pleasure to be here talking with you on the interview.
That's it for MiQuatro. The next interview is with Riolu. That interview was pre-recorded, so if you want to ask him some questions, unlucky, but you can send them in and maybe I'll bring them up on a podcast. But Riolu is the last interview for today, and I guess tell me if you liked it, tell me if you disliked it, and give me some feedback on that. And shout out to G Geek for being the guy who has hosted it. And once again, a pleasure talking to you, MiQuatro. A little break now, and then I guess Riolu is the next one up. The next guest on today's Trackmania Live is Riolu from Germany, a player for Nuravin. One of the most popular streamers out there, and recently has some big numbers during the Trackmania release. Riolu, glad you take the time during a busy time. Like I said to most people, I haven't wanted to ask people to come on before, let's say, 1 week has passed, because I imagine you have been crazy busy during this release time.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure to talk to you again for like the 5th time now, I think. But it's always great to be back here on your sofa. But yeah, the last week has been incredibly crazy, and also the weeks before when I did the Trackmania Marathon, which was a big project for me as well. I was already super busy. I was really working a lot more than what I did previously. And now with the new game being released, I'm pretty much always constantly being surrounded with Trackmania. So it's always something to do, you know. You either stream, or you work on videos, or you collect clips for the videos, or you check Discord, watch other people, check Twitter, you know, all the stuff. And it's been really busy, like really, really busy. It's actually difficult to find time for other things right now, but yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, and it pays off. Like the hard work. You already pointed it out. The numbers are just a lot bigger than what they used to be before. So the hard work is paying off, and that's the best motivation you can get, to actually see that people kind of appreciate your work, that people like to watch what you do, and that just keeps me going. So even though it's a full-time job, or beyond full-time at this point, I still enjoy every second of it. So it's actually amazing. Like, hard to put it in words, to be honest, because I didn't expect it to go like this. But yeah, I'm super happy.
And something that important that you mentioned there is that you actually did a lot of work before it was released. Was that some sort of plan, I don't know, tactic to actually, because most people are like, okay, let's wait until 1st of July, then I stream it and hope for viewers. But you sort of went through the whole Trackmania genre with all the Trackmania marathon you did. Was that sort of some sort of tactic to actually show people Trackmania, and then also, hey, a new Trackmania is coming up, hey, you should follow me during the release day?
Yeah, it's actually a good thought. And yeah, it was kind of my plan from the beginning. You pointed it out. So my plan was to kind of get some initial hype for Trackmania by just playing all the games. Because in the past, there have been a lot of popular Trackmania games, such as ESWC. You noticed how big of a hype there was when people started to play the game again. So I knew that there was something, and I had to work with that special thing that was in the past of Trackmania, in the history of Trackmania. So I thought, hey, this marathon is a pretty cool idea. Kind of got inspired by the Need for Speed streamer Kuru HS, who did his racing marathon with a lot of other racing games. He wasn't just specifying on like one game, but he played a lot of racing games in this marathon type of format. So I was like, nobody has ever done that for Trackmania before. Why not be the first? And that was kind of my big thought along the entire marathon, pretty much. So I just went with it, and I thought it's a cool thing. Also for me personally, because I played most of these games in my childhood as well. So it was great to actually go back and see how the games used to be before, well, Trackmania became what it is now. And with people coming in and checking out the marathon, you just automatically generate that hype for Trackmania and for the new release as well. So the plan was to bring people in to make them interested in Trackmania and then be like, wow, hey, there's a new Trackmania. So we could kind of end the marathon one day before the new game release. That was the plan all along, pretty much. And then kick it off with the new era, with the new game being released. So the plan actually worked out brilliantly, I must say. I was a little skeptical at some points because I thought maybe I was too slow, maybe a bit too fast, but at the end it was actually spot on. So yeah, it was a good idea, I must say, and I'm happy it worked out that way because I wasn't really sure how well it's gonna work. Like, how much are people really gonna like it? Are people maybe just gonna get bored? But at the end, it was actually much bigger of a success than I initially expected it to be on YouTube as well. Not only on Twitch, but also on YouTube. So yeah, all in all, I think I contributed a bit of hype for Trackmania as a franchise, and I'm happy.
And then you have played all the Trackmania games, and then July 1st you played a new Trackmania game. I guess you are maybe the best person to ask this then. What is the main difference, if you are to explain it to maybe a casual viewer, someone who just watched Trackmania, what is the main difference in this Trackmania game? Is it the car handling? Is it the design? What is the main difference with this new Trackmania?
I think the main difference, and I think it is a step that should have been done years ago, is making Trackmania modern again. One big problem of Trackmania, and Nadeo sadly didn't realize until now, is the fact that Trackmania 2 and Mania Planet as a whole just wasn't profitable at all, because it was kind of aiming for a wrong audience, and it was kind of growing out of proportion for what it should have been in first place. Because Mania Planet was originally kind of advertised as just a platform for all the games, for TM2, for Shoot Mania, for Quest Mania. But yeah, later it just turned out to be a massive pile of tools that you had that you could use to create your own stuff. But you can't really promote that, and people just got straight up confused by all the new titles, and every environment is separate and stuff. So I think that originally kind of good idea backfired quite hard, and ended up making Trackmania lose out on a lot of potential audience. And what they did now with the new game is that they finally made it modern. They refreshed Stadium, which was a 14-year-old environment when you look at it, from 2006 ESWC till now, 14 years. So they finally took Stadium, which was successful, and made it modern. Because gaming moves on, and everything moves on with time, but Trackmania kind of got stuck in the past. And they finally realized that and made Trackmania kind of compatible with 2020 again. And that also goes hand in hand with the payment model, because the payment model is something that people complain about. I can understand, but it's a necessary step to kind of make the game work in 2020. You can't just put out a game like back in the days with, I don't know, Trackmania United, just pay it once and it's done. That's not how it works nowadays. So you need to make sure you get these regular payments and put out updates all the time and new blocks and new features and everything. But yeah, I think the biggest difference is simply the fact that it's modern and not really the gameplay. Of course, the gameplay is a bit new. There is some new stuff. There's ice, reactor boosts, etc. But the main difference is really the way this game is approaching people. It's really tailoring towards new people again, towards new audiences. You really see that. They try to make it a bit more, I don't know, easy to understand, easy to access with a very simple to get game. It's just Stadium. You just get into the game, you can play. You don't have to go through 8 title packs and whatever. You just play the game, right? And this approach is what makes the biggest difference, I believe.
But then you have played all games. You have been around Trackmania for a long time. Do you think that this game will break into some sort of mainstream audience, or do you think that eventually, let's say in 6 months, you are not going to have XQC Soda Pop in and eventually get left with maybe the same audience that was around Trackmania 2 Stadium?
I think that's a very difficult topic to touch upon because there are so many factors that come into play for this question that I think we could talk about this for like 3 hours straight. But
Podcast, yeah.
yeah, it's great podcast material for sure. But I believe that they have made some good steps forward to bring the game to a general broad audience in first place. But a lot of more work needs to be done. So now, of course, I'm no expert. I'm not qualified to kind of analyze the market and stuff. But from what I can see is that you have the general interest. People like the game. You have XQC, you have Soda Pop, and you have Lyric. You have all the big streamers. They like the game. They don't say, "Wow, it's ass. I'm not going to play it again." But they actually play it. You've seen it yesterday. They played together, 1v1. You know, they don't do that in every game. So you see that there's general interest for Trackmania. They think it's a fun game. It's exciting. It's cool to watch for people because all the crazy stuff which is happening in Trackmania just appeals to people. You know, fast cars, stunts, looping, full speed. You know, all the good stuff. All the stuff that kind of attracts people, and that make Trackmania what kind of makes Trackmania stand out as well. Among all the other racing games that are just, I don't know, normal street racing, tuning, you know, the Need for Speed kind of stuff, or the sim racing stuff maybe as well. But Trackmania has its own kind of characteristics, and I think that's what really appeals to people. So then again, I can't tell, but I think they are making good steps, but they really need to work on kind of keeping the long-term thing going for big streamers, so that they kind of invite them to events, like host events, let them host events like Zerator maybe, host events from Soda Pop maybe or something. So you kind of get this connection with their community, with the game, and also with Nadeo Ubisoft. That could be a step forward as well. And then, of course, a lot of more promotion, get people to play even more, and maybe even get out some type of advertisements. We'll see. But I think first steps are done, but there needs to be a lot more to keep people going.
And talking about the events, we have an upcoming TMGL show match on this weekend, and then later the next weekend we have the Serati Cup. Can you quickly explain what competitions are you more focused about? Is it finally you're going to go full hard on Serati again? Is it to defend the success you had in Trackmania Grand League? Tell people, what are you aiming towards once it comes to events in this new game?
Oh yeah, that's a hard question actually, because just alone in the month of July we have 3 competitions, like 3 major competitions. You name 2 of them, and there's also the Pittsburgh Night competition, which is, I don't know if it's taking place in July actually, but there's definitely some type of announcement at least in regards to mapping or something. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to that competition. But the question between TMGL and ZRT, I think since I'm kind of back to ZRT, I of course want to play good, because it's a great chance to get your name out as well to the French community, and just gain some more exposure, because now is a good time to expand and to get more people in. That's a great opportunity. But TMGL in my vision, in the long-term vision, is more important, because TMGL has the potential to become super big if Ubisoft Nadeo push it properly. So I think there's a lot of potential, and I like TMGL as a format more than ZRT, because I like endurance. I like the aspect of focusing on consistency, not so much the crazy maps that are played at ZRT. So I use ZRT. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm using it just to push the numbers a bit, to also learn the game with all the new blocks and stuff. Not because I thoroughly enjoy playing ZRT or anything. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you here, because I'm not gonna lie here at this point. But Grand League is more of a serious thing, so I think Grand League has priority. But I also want to do good at both, because as you might know, I'm that kind of guy who wants to perform always, at his best, or at my best. So I'm gonna try. At the moment, I'm kind of alternating. One day ZRT, one day TMGL. But since TMGL is closer, I think I will do more TMGL first, and then in the upcoming week more ZRT.
And like you said, this is a lot of topics we can do on a podcast. And don't be surprised if I ask you to come on a podcast. But for now, I guess this is somewhat of a short interview with you. I have a schedule to keep today. I don't think I will keep it, but I appreciate you taking the time. Tell people, when are you streaming? Is it every day? Is it every hour? Tell people, where can they find you and what time?
That's a great question right here. So,
favorite question, right?
Yeah, that's very tactical. But yeah, I'm streaming. I'm trying to go with a schedule now. So every day from 7 p.m. CST to midnight. So 5 hours of Trackmania every day. So people kind of know when to expect me. I used to stream, like I did daily streams all the time from the last 2 years almost, but yeah, now I want to go with a schedule. So yeah, if you want to watch some Trackmania with me, then you know where to go. And thanks for having me, Eirik, and good luck and enjoy the other interviews as well.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if you see Riolu coming up for the 6th, 7th, 8th time. I don't know. It's too popular at the
Always
moment,
a
and it's too
pleasure,
much
man.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah, always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much for stepping up, and thank you, Riolu. That's it. Bye bye.
Well, Thomas Mengozi, aka G-Geek here. I'm coming here at the end of the show to thank you all for tuning into this very first edition of Trackmania Live. This is the very first time that we've done something like this. 8 interviews, 8 interviewees, 8 guests coming one after another, all live. You did see that there was a few teething problems in there, mainly due to a few technical issues on my end, and also a glorious photobomb happening in the middle of the Mad interview. But that's all of the past. I wanted to thank you all on behalf of Eirik and myself for so much for watching. Look forward to potentially more of these in the future whenever we get the time to do it, and whenever we can get guests like the ones you can see the name on the screen here. Thank you very much once again for watching, and yeah, see you all next time.